Okay, hey folks, welcome back to the next video on the iTrack DNA. This video will focus on lentic sampling for targeted eDNA.
So we're going to look at red lake frog today, and we walked up and down the site and determined that this is the best location for them. There's some emergent and submergent vegetation where they like to lay their eggs, and then they also really like the high UV exposure. However, eDNA doesn't, so it's really a toss-up, but we'll try for this site because it looks like it'll be a good site for them. So
Great.
we'll look at some of our equipment and make sure that we have everything before we start.
Well, we've got our three sample bottles, and I'm just gonna check on our tablet here to make sure that we're at the correct site. So we're just gonna label our bottles. So I'm going to label this, and I'm going to label it based on our site code, GRB01A. And the A is going to be in circle. And why it's going to be A is because it's the first one of 3 replicates we're going to take. Additionally, I'm going to write down the date, the time, and the person that's doing the sampling, which is very important for chain of custody reasons. I'm going to ensure that it's properly labeled on the side and on the top.
Great. And then while Ria's labeling the bottle, I'm going to decontaminate our reacher pole. So here we have the extendable painter's pole and the painter's handle all attached already. So I have my 50% bleach solution and water solution. So I'll just go downwind of my partner and decontaminate this. So just making sure to spray every aspect of this painter's pole. And I'll let this sit for 30 seconds. So it's been 30 seconds, so I'll just rinse off this pole with the water sprayer. Great, so our pole is decontaminated now. We'll put the labeled bottle in the reacher pole. Okay, great. So now that we have our setup all done, I'm going to make sure that this sample bottle is committed to the site. So I'm going to rinse it 3 times just to make sure that the only DNA is from this site. So I'm going to a site that's at least 10 meters away from the sample site where I really want to collect the DNA from. So here we go. I don't need to fill it all the way up. I'm just gonna put this on and give it a quick shake. Actually, I probably filled that up a bit too much. Makes it a bit harder. And then I'm gonna dump out of the water body. So again, just like a little bit of water in there to expose it to the site. Give it a good shake. I'm just having good practices and making sure not to touch the inside of the bottle, even when I'm doing these rinses. Great, so that's 3 rinses, so we're ready to go to the sample site. So we're at the sample site now. We've done our 3 rinses. I'm going to show you 2 techniques to do. So the first technique I'm going to show you is the plunge method. And the plunge method is used for species or taxon that are deeper in the water, or when there's the separation of water from a fresh rainfall and you have that top layer, you're going to try and get under there. So we're going to go deeper. Okay, so here we go for the plunge method. So really for that, I just angle my bottle down, spin it up, and then let it fill with water, making sure I'm not touching the inside or outside of the bottle. And then there we go. So once I have my sample, I'm going to store it in the shade until I leave the site, and then as soon as I get to my cooler, I'm going to store it on direct ice. So I'm just going to show you guys another method. This is the surface method, and when you have a particulate matter on the surface, you can do a sweep. So just do 2 sweeps away and 2 towards you, and then you have a brief moment in time where you can just grab it from the surface before it closes again, and there we have our sample. So again, with B, making sure not to touch the inside, tightening that up really tight so it doesn't leak in the cooler when it bounces around. And then I'm going to store this in the shade in the field and then back at the car on direct ice again. So here we go.